you get that done and you think you can fill out the rest of these cells, just go ahead with it. Fill in the rest of the cells based on the information you have on that.
Two extra rows.
So do I. We're going to take care of that. Is everybody pretty close to getting that done? Maybe just another moment, about a minute or so, and we'll pick back up whether you got them done or not. Doesn't mean that you can feel good later. pitter patter of the keyboard stop. I'll pick that. Okay, I think we're pretty close now. We had 2 extra rows because remember at the start it said, hey, you're going to use 2 blocks up, you 2 rows up using this. Well, it turned out that's not what really happened. But this table is totally editable at this point. Okay, we can do anything we want to it as far as how it was set up. The first thing, I've got it deactivated. When you do want to edit it, you want to activate the table. So if you get on one of the frame parts, you'll see it start to highlight. You want to double click to activate the table. Now from there, what I'm going to do is go click this whole row right here. So I just use the crossing window to kind of come in and select this row. Now notice up on the top, in the left, you've got delete and insert. So you can add columns, you can break this thing up like in the text where you might have one that's got separate columns, whatever the case. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that row and then hit it twice. And that should delete everything that I'm sitting at the bottom of the table. Now you do also have the ability to come in here. The one thing I don't like is that you can't resize. You know, it'd be nice to have these things, like in Excel, you can get on the edge and you can drag these cells and change the size. These pretty much work on an auto fit. And you don't have a lot of ability to change them. Remember, at the start, these were all 2.5. But what you can do is if you right-click in these things, so if I activate one, let's see, I've got, get back out of that. Highlight the table, jump into that cell. Now, if I right-click and hold it down, you do get your shortcut menus. You've also got a bunch of stuff that's sitting on the bottom. Now, you do have your format option. And so that's kind of like your paragraph option that you get in Excel and Word. So if you click on that, you can do alignment, color, and that's about all you can really do.
You can stretch the boxes
Yeah.
How did you stretch them?
with the right
The grips?
grip. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It just does the one that you're working on. Even though it shows all the other ones moving, it just does that one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do it and I can change it.
We want that one to be smaller. Quantity can be quite a bit smaller too. You're going to find getting space on a drawing is tough to do, and tables are a great way to create some space. Now, this thing's just sitting on whatever layer you put on. I'm going to put this on the text layer. So I'm just going to select the table and throw it on my text layer. Now, for the symbols, since you can't really put any symbols in here because it doesn't have it for doors and windows, what you then do is, in essence, I'm going to create my own symbol off to the side, and I'm just going to paste it over the top of the thing. So if I'm using doors, we generally use numbers for doors, letters for windows. So that's why I wanted your annotative text. We're going to do M text here. And we're going to throw this out. Well, let's see. I'm going to have to scale that up by 48 times. Let's do this. First, take your table and run the scale command on it and times it by 48. So take your scale, your table, scale it by your DSF. Then I'm going to use M text off to the side, and I'm just going to make a 1.
By 48, did you say?
Yes, since that's the DSF of this. Now, when you make this, folks, I see this all the time, and I want to make sure you don't do it now so you don't do it later. I made the 1. Now, always size these boxes that they can go 2, because this goes to 10, this box isn't gonna be the same, right? I can't get 10 in here. So make sure when you do like a symbol around some text, like smoke detector, carbon monoxide, doors, windows, bolts, beams, whatever we're scheduling out, we can do flooring, we can do paint, then make sure that that thing will take the largest, because this symbol shouldn't change all the way through the drawing, it should be the same. So what I generally do is I'm gonna make this thing so it handles 2 characters, and it's nice and centered, and I got lots of room around the outside. And just use move and stuff like that to kind of get everything centered. Make it that size. Now, this one's gonna have a 1 end up in it, but I'm doing that to size this rectangle. Okay, so just throw M text out there, like 10 or 11 or 12. Use the rectangle command and draw this quick box around it. Make sure you have room. Because remember, these things will have line weights. And I want to be able to read this. Once you have the size of the rectangle, then you'll recenter a single character in it. So you should be sitting something like this. Now from there, all I'm going to do is copy this thing. And I'm going to paste it over those boxes, and I'm just going to eyeball it in there. So I'm going to do a copy right here. And I'm going to take it over here and just try and center it up. You can draw yourself some guidelines if you need to. And then I edit it. So there's 2, this one's 3. Four and 5. Yeah, if they don't fit in, I'm resizing my boxes too as I go through, because I want this thing to read right. Should be done when you get there, and this thing's ready to print. We'll go ahead and print this just a second, if you want to see it printed. table, in essence, you can treat it like an entity. You can move it, you can rotate it, scale it, do anything you want with it. All your modified commands should work. Okay, if you want, at this point, you can print this, and we can print it right out of here. It should fit on an A sheet, I'm thinking, but I'm just gonna print right out of model space. So send it to the M, what's that name of that printer? Attic 127. If you're printing out a model space, you do have to set a scale. Okay, so I'm setting this since I'm printing out a model space. There it sits. So I'll leave this up. If you want to print it just to see how it turns out, okay, choose your right printer. That's the LaserJet, the 127. It'll go in a letter, snap a window around your door schedule, center it. The only thing you're going to do different is under plot scale, set it to 1/4 inch to a foot. Because normally in paper space, we need this 1-to-1, right? Our viewport does the scaling for us. We're coming out of model space, we don't have that. Okay, so you got to set your scale, and then just say OK, and it should go to the printer. I don't know that we all need to print them. Elise, you ready? Why don't you print yours? Let's see what it looks like. Oh. I'll print mine. So here's mine. You know, it's a fairly quick way to throw a quick table together where it does all your line weights for you, it sets your text sizes, and then you just populate your cells. It doesn't do a bad job here. Like I mentioned, there are some things behind the scenes, but it takes an office a little bit of work to set that up to where it works correctly. For us at this stage, to get 14 of us on the same page and get that to happen would be an exercise in futility.
Simply because it doesn't, if I select a little thing,
You
set a
must have very
scale,
confident
should it be on paper?
I didn't mean it to sound like that. Yeah, it's good. Yours might be too big, so I went and resized a bunch of my stuff so it would fit on here.
I missed the step when you put the box into scale. You said, click on the box and then.
Because we're using 1/4 inch text on, 1/4 inch to a foot scale on this drawing for this bit. So when you place the table in, it goes in at 1-to-1. Okay, it's not really annotative. And so I had to scale it by my DSF. Is that the step you missed? Okay, so all they did was scale before I populated any of this. You can do it afterwards. Scale, select the table, and then just, when it says your scale factor, put in 48.
So you put in SC and then.
Yep, SC, selected my table, put a base point wherever, and then it says what's your scale factor, put in your DSF, which is 48 for this drawing.
Maybe it'll explode.
You know, I haven't tried to explode a table.
I
I'm not sure
just did
what
it
happens
now
there.
to see if it would do it.
Did
Did it?
explode it?
It's lines of text.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
that might be another good reason for it, is just dump the thing out. with your headers and your titles and then explode it, and that gives you total autonomy with it because it's just lines and text at that point, right? You might use that to throw out how many rows and columns you got and then just explode the thing and fill it normally using end text. So there are some uses to this. All right, I think that's all we really wanted to cover today was that. Is how to do that and throw it out on your drawing and set it to whatever desired scale you wish to have. Keep in mind, you want to go in and set up a style, set up your headers, set up your titles, your data cells, how you're going to do your borders, whether you're going to have these lines around each one, or maybe I just got lines this way, whatever the case might be, how I want it. Pop it out in your drawing, scale it by your DSF, and then populate all of your cells. Okay, I got quite a few people that I think are probably going to take the test today, so please study up on that. In my opinion, you should be taking that self-test, the one that's based on the AutoCAD certification. In fact, if you don't know, I've taken that, and this test is quite a bit harder than your AutoCAD certification test. So if you pass this, you're well above AutoCAD certified level 1 user. But we don't care about that, neither do your employers. They'll know real quickly if you know how to run it. But let's get those done. I think you should be taking that every day, every other day at a maximum time span. Okay, keep it fresh in your mind, keep studying it, let's get the thing knocked out. Starting on Tuesday, we'll do a couple lectures outside of any of the text. There's just base information on CAD that's nice for you to know about at this point in time that we can use going forward. We'll do that Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday will be a test review, Wednesday test, start drafting 133 on Thursday. This afternoon again, 1:15, we'll do a fun Friday. I had through 10 on that sheet, drawings through 10, is that correct? Was it 9 or 10? I can't remember.
10.
Okay, 10. Okay. We've got, I think, 14 total. So there is another sheet that has some drawings after this. If you finish these for some reason, come get that from me. All right, that's it for today. Heck, hour and 5 minutes. Actually, it wasn't even that because we waited for donuts. It's nice. The rest of the day is yours until 1:15, and then we'll do a fun Friday. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, we have a class meeting, so meet up, 9:30. That sounds good.
Becca, if you need Sean's involvement, do you need Sean? Don't you have to get out of here?
Yeah, okay.
Just do it right now.
Val, are you gonna do anything that requires?
Not really, we could do it right now if everybody's ready. It don't matter. It's a short meeting. It's a very
Your
short.
choice, Sean. If you get to the point you need to go, go.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's just do it right now. Okay. Get this done.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I'll run these over.
As far as the scales are
I'm ready. You take this again?
Hell no. I sent you the first sheet.
that makes more sense to me.
And I left mine at home, so I can't even like look at the one. It's confusing.
It's just because like I'm not really good at like understanding stuff unless it's like spoken to me when I read it. Sometimes I don't make it doesn't make sense to me, you know.
That's on my agenda.
Like on the first test, I also had trouble with that.
Oh, damn it. I thought you
Some
were
shit
my
was
beer.
like word.
See, you knew it. I don't know you, so I have to get through the text. I have to push it until you read it. So I have to read it to get it. So it's kind of like. Oh, hold on. Brad, you done. look at, I'm doing the questions of the chapters.
Damn dedication.
Even I'm having a hard time.
Because I
Like
can't.
it's harder as you get older to learn. Like
Look at it, here's all the.
I'm
end
not
of chapter.
picking up on
So
it.
look, so then I did all the end of the chapter tests, you know, the,
Yeah.
just the little ones, just, there's only like 4 or 5
Yeah.
questions, I just did those. Because I don't, you know,
Yeah.
well, how else am I gonna learn this?
I don't know.
Within reason. Yeah, he's a whole.
Okay, bring it in. It's a short meeting, so.
Well, hop to it. Well, nobody, some of us are paying attention. They don't, you know.
Yeah, very few. I can't, wish I could.
And I have this big iron coach bell thing, the back.
Big one for teaching.
Calls kids. and
Yeah, I
stuff.
was totally gonna drink beer to celebrate, but I had to come to class. What? That's Friday. It's time to party.
Is this it?
What the hell?
Logic. Cheryl. I think it's fine.
There's enough of us here.
Yeah. Okay, so challenge course, we are scheduled for